If you don't know whose address this was, I want to just ask you, how have you managed to stay off of the internet for all of these years? I'm going to take you to one of the most famous residences in New York City and explain how this address has something to do with who Zohran Mamdani intends to keep in his administration. Okay, we are getting off at 68th Street, Hunter College. I want you to remember that. Of course, we've got the Chabad over here. It's just a short walk to our destination. I guess we can walk down Famous Park Avenue. You know, New York City actually has the highest concentration of millionaires, multimillionaires, and billionaires in the world. There's literally a Chabad Lubavitch sign on every street corner, on every corner of every street corner. Did I lie? Did I lie? No. Look at this. Look at this, everywhere, everywhere. We are almost there. So much wealth in the Upper East Side of New York. One of the most wealthy cities in the entire world. Actually, it is the most wealthy city in the entire world, but we still have plenty of homelessness encampments. Okay, we are just about to arrive. I literally feel, oh, they're getting an Amazon delivery. I literally feel sick and scared, emotionally disturbed, but also I think mostly nauseous. Okay, we are here outside of 9 East 71st Street. Before we continue though, I need to grab something important. Okay, I recently finished the Virginia Roberts Giuffre book, Nobody's Girl. Virginia Roberts Giuffre is one of the most famous Epstein victims. And she speaks a lot about this residence here. This is where Jeffrey Epstein lived. And in her book, let me show you. My hands are literally shaking. I think I'm a little scared to be out here. There's just so much evil that has happened at this address, so you really feel it. Anyways, as I was saying, in her book, Nobody's Girl, she speaks about this address, the crimes that Jeffrey Epstein and his co-conspirators committed not just against her, but hundreds, if not thousands, of girls and women as well. One of the main points that she makes in this book is that all of these networks and most of these individuals who were involved continue to operate with complete impunity. All of these networks are still completely intact and working as they did, as they've always have. And now you might be asking, how does any of this have to do with Zohran Mamdani and his lukewarm socialist proposals? Well, Zohran Mamdani has stated his intention to keep on current NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch.
Have you convinced Commissioner Tisch to stay on the police commissioner?
You know, I've made my decision to retain Commissioner Tisch, and I've done so because Eric Adams had stacked the upper echelons of the NYPD with incompetence and corruption. She came in, started to tackle that, deliver accountability, and reduce crime across the 5 boroughs. That is what we would build upon under a Mamdani administration.
Zionist Jessica Tisch is the heiress to the Tisch family dynasty. Her grandfather, Lawrence Tisch, was one of the co-founders of the Zionist philanthrocapitalist Jewish supremacist mega group, alongside Birthright founder and Seagram's heir Charles Bronfman, as well as Jeffrey Epstein's main benefactor, Leslie Wexner. Oh, there's somebody coming out. Lawrence Tisch was the owner of the Lowe's Corporation. It's still in the family today. And he also took over CBS News in 1986. In his obituary in Forward magazine, the writer details his close relationship with Ehud Barak. And it's widely speculated that Ehud Barak, actually he's been accused by Virginia Roberts Giuffre of being the foreign prime minister that beat and raped her within an inch of her life. It's detailed in her book here. Ehud Barak met with Jeffrey Epstein at least 36 times.
Their defense minister, Ehud Barak, was documented with Jeffrey Epstein 36 times, probably even while he was defense minister.
There's photos of him exiting this residence here. This residence sold for the discount price of $51 million after the original asking price of $81 million apparently was too high. It was sold to a former Goldman Sachs executive, and they underwent a 4-year complete renovation. If I was going to complete a multi-million-dollar 4-year renovation project, then I probably would change the facade. But again, it would never be me because I am never going to be a multi-million-dollar banking executive. Despite the world knowing the heinous crimes and abuse and sex trafficking that happened at the hands of Jeffrey Epstein and his co-conspirators, the federal government and these powerful actors are doing everything in their power to ensure that justice is never brought against them.
It is absolutely true that as long as he keeps us from reconvening, the 218th signature for the Epstein discharge petition will not become a congressperson.
The government is currently in its longest ever federal shutdown since October 1st because of this. The government is being kept in shutdown because they don't want these files to be exposed and these powerful men to be exposed. Congressman Thomas Massie will have the 218 necessary votes to force a discharge petition on the Epstein files.
Jeffrey Epstein was an intelligence asset to Israel and to the United States.
It's not just the Epstein list. He has an CIA file and an FBI file because he was an intelligence asset. Literally Chabad everywhere. Chabad.
That's not how that scale should be.
The politicians who have stated their support for Thomas Massie's discharge petition are facing extreme pressure to remove their names because who they're going up against are the most powerful people and entities on the planet. These guys have enough money and power to literally buy off police departments or straight up own them, as in the Tisch's case, pay off judges, pay off families, and make all of their problems, as well as all of these people, just go away. Of course, there's Chabad signs surrounding the entire Epstein residence. They're literally everywhere. When I first thought to come over here and speak about what happened here, because I recently finished the Virginia Roberts Giuffre book, I thought to kind of canvass the area and see how many schools and playgrounds were in the vicinity and how the city of New York failed victims because they let Epstein live in such close proximity to all these pedophile hotspots. But upon further research, I learned that there's no sex offender law that would have applied to Epstein. He could live wherever the hell he wanted. The current sex offender law, as it is for where they can live, it only applies to sex offenders who are currently in probation or parole. So since Epstein was neither in probation or parole, it wouldn't have applied to him. He could literally live right next door to a school. But even with this complete insanity of leniency against sex offenders in the state of New York, the NYPD and the New York District Attorney's Office went even further to protect Jeffrey Epstein and allow him to continue committing his crimes and sex trafficking children. Once Jeffrey Epstein returned to New York after serving out his sentence, like the sweetheart deal that he was awarded in Florida, after he was convicted of sex trafficking, he moved back to 9 East 71st Street, and in his sex offender hearing, the New York District Attorney's Office argued alongside his defense for leniency. They argued that Jeffrey Epstein should be given the lowest classification of sex offender, which is level 1. And the judge at the time, the judge in that hearing, she said that she had never seen anything like that in her career, that the district attorney's office, the prosecutor, would argue for leniency for a pedophile sex trafficker alongside the pedophile sex trafficker's defense. She denied the request, and classified him as a level 3 offender, meaning that he was supposed to be on the public sex offender registry, as well as be mandated for 90-day check-ins. Well, the NYPD and the New York District Attorney's Office allowed Mr. Epstein to miss 34 consecutive check-ins, each one being a felony charge, yet they never did anything about it. So not only did the New York District Attorney's Office argue for leniency for Jeffrey Epstein, regardless of what classification he was still given leniency. He was given special and preferential treatment as a convicted sex trafficking pedophile. Probably because of all of the embarrassment the state of New York had after their flagrant sex offender loophole was exposed. There's currently a bill in the New York Senate that would mandate sex offenders, only level 2 and 3 sex offenders, that they would not be able to live within 1,000 feet of a school or playground. But if the DA had gotten their wish with Jeffrey Epstein and been able to classify him as a level 1 offender, this bill wouldn't have affected him either. So with the NYPD and the New York District Attorney's complete miscarriage of justice and dereliction of duty, Epstein went on to further assault and sex traffic hundreds of victims. How many victims would have been saved if the city and state of New York and the NYPD had done their fucking due diligence? Something else about Jessica Tisch. She was brought on to the NYPD in 2008 into their counterterrorism unit. In many articles, she describes the way that she revolutionized the 911 dispatch, and it appears that she's speaking about the complete overhaul of the 911 dispatch system in New York with Carbine 911, which is an Israeli AI tech firm that was originally funded and supported by Jeffrey Epstein, Ehud Barak, and Peter Thiel. So it seems like with Jessica Tisch, the Epstein-funded Carbine 911 was able to take over New York's 911 dispatch system. So to Zohran Mamdani, it is literally impossible to say that you are against Zionism and support the Palestinian people, yet intend to keep on someone like Jessica Tisch as your NYPD commissioner. Jessica Tisch is a flagrant Zionist who supports the genocidal, racist, pedophile safe haven Israel and has already overseen so many miscarriages of justice.
Want someone to bend you over and fucking rape you like they're doing to the Jews in fucking Palestine?
What happened? Who they chasing? Who they chasing? Huh? Huh? One woman? But they chasing one girl?
The Epstein victims have sacrificed so much and paid such high prices in their quest for justice. And in Virginia Roberts Giuffre's case, she's paid with her life. It's kind of impossible to believe that someone would want to fucking live here after everything that happened. It's literally a sex trafficking, rape, torture den. Just because you complete a multi-million-dollar renovation doesn't mean you erase the crimes that happened here and the victims that suffered at the hands of the most powerful men on the planet. We cannot allow them to memory hole this. This is at the heart of everything that we're fighting against. This is at the heart of Zionism and the apartheid, pedophile safe haven, Israel. I'm walking away and I truly feel disturbed by just being in the vicinity of 9 East 71st Street. So rest in peace, Virginia Roberts Giuffre. You will never be forgotten. Your sacrifice will never be forgotten. Your quest for justice to protect all future child victims of sex trafficking will never be forgotten, and it's literally one of the bravest things that anyone has ever done. Truly.